Watch the game. Watch the game sports. I'm your man, L.A. Cheatham.
Benjamin Banneker, what's going on? Good people. Good people. I'm sorry, not Tyson Bajan. I'm sorry.
Please welcome to the show tonight one of my favorite guests. He gonna bring that energy. I know he getting ready for next week's game. I think we're going into week 9. Our Bears taking on the Saints, and he will be there.
In
My
the
main
building.
man, Will Bates. Will the Thrill Bates.
Will the Thrill. What's going on, fellas?
What's
How
going
y'all
on,
doing,
man?
What's going on? Oh,
What's
man.
happening?
You tell me.
Hey, man,
at the
30
front.
30-13. Our Bears go down in Hollywood to the Chargers. In a nutshell, defense was bad. Uh, we didn't establish the run game like I like to do. I think every quarterback needs a really good run game, and had some costly turnovers as well, some drop passes. As a matter of fact, the 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 name of this segment in this show is dropped opportunities, and I'm talking about Velus Jones in particular. But it was way bigger than Velus. He was a contributor to this loss last night. But there's a whole lot more that this team done to contribute to Sunday night's loss. This was just as much as a team loss as the Las Vegas Raiders game was a team win. So that's just how I feel about it. Will, how you feel? Then we're gonna get Penn's idea of
Man,
how he feel about it.
man, disgusted. I just put it like that. But last night was one of the few times that a loss didn't resonate with me the same way as past losses. There was too much noise within our fan base in the media that was just contributing to a lot of stuff being said that was way out of line and just real disrespectful to QB1.
Yep.
And so last night, and I had it before the season. I had us losing that game anyway. I just thought the Chargers were just a better team on paper. They had a quarterback in the system that was already established, and then they had Khalil Mack and Bosa on the other side, so they had their bookends. So I thought it would be, but hopefully, man, something good can come out of all of this, because before change comes, there's always disruption.
Yeah, I'm right with you, Will. It was one of them losses that I was like, this needed to happen, because it was like the hype train had got so out of control with Tyson Bagent. I get it. It's a great story, coming from Shepherd Division 2. You want to see the underdog win, and you want to see the underdog get his shot to perform at that level. I get all that. But what's being lost in this whole thing is last week, the Bears won the game because they ran the football. They said we're gonna rely on the run, and Tyson Bagent didn't turn the ball over. So they didn't ask much of him, and it seemed like just this week it was like they was like, okay, we about to double down on it now. We about to show him he can throw the deep ball. First play of the game, what they do, they go deep, and it was just like they needed to lose like that. Everybody needed a reset, and everybody needs to see like, okay, Tyson Bagent, great story. Yeah, he came in and won a game. Anybody can come in and win a game, but still QB1, and what we need to figure out for this franchise is Justin the guy moving forward. And hopefully that can happen. Hopefully, you got to take your salt with your medicine sometime. Hopefully that's what's going on at Hallis Hall today. But watching the game, when we lost to the Packers, I was upset. When we lost to probably 4 out of the losses we had this year, my Sunday was messed up. Yesterday, I was cool. Like, okay.
I'm being honest. That's exactly the way I felt, and I've never felt that way.
Yeah,
never.
Well, me myself personally, I can't say it enough. I just think you need to establish the run game no matter who the quarterback is. And when you came out against the Raiders in week 7, and all of a sudden it was this big emphasis on establishing the run game, but I understand you wanted to kind of dumb it down, or didn't want to put much on Bajan's plate, and I can understand that. But all I could think about was same team, same scheme. Meaning, no matter who the quarterback is, you must establish the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. The most fundamental thing for an offensive line to do should be to run block. And against the Raiders, they were able to get that done. Now, Chargers game, I don't think they committed to it long enough. Uh, I don't think Foreman got the opportunities that he should have got. Also think Lucas Patrick really disrupted the rhythm of the offense. That's
Mm.
I didn't even say anything about Tyson Bagent because those things happened. They did not establish the line of scrimmage, and Lucas Patrick had two back-to-back penalties that I think really disrupted the flow of the offense. He really
Yeah.
killed them on the one play when Deontay Foreman set up. I guess there was like a wildcat formation, real good power run to the right, flag that don't count.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about Roshan Johnson, I think they kind of put him in the game in some bad spots because
Yep.
he showed against Tampa that he doesn't always hit the hole immediately. He had a jump cut play on 3rd and short. Well, if he would have jump cut, if he wouldn't have jump cut, he could have hit that hole with momentum. But that jump cut cost him that much time, and Bosa was able to wrap his arm around him and get a stop. So in that situation, I want to see a little bit more of Deontay Foreman. He's been
Hmm.
lathered up for the past 2 weeks. I just don't think he got the opportunity last night that he had against the Raiders. Also, on the positive side, really happy to see Darrington Evans get his first NFL touchdown.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Darrington Evans has went through a serious situation this year. Just in his whole lifestyle. Shout out to the Tape Never Lies Network. These guys had an opportunity to interview Darrington Evans on their podcast, and when I heard about his experience just in the transition from coming from
Yeah.
being a Miami Dolphin
Dolphin. Hmm.
to the Chicago Bears, it was a hell of an experience because as you look into the backdrop of these guys' lives as being professional athletes, he was called up by the Bears. He was on the Miami Dolphins practice squad. Okay, now this is the thing. He had just signed a lease in Miami. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right,
So
Yeah.
right,
now you
right.
get where I'm going. 2 days after he signed the lease, he gets called up. Hey, the Bears will sign you to the 53 man roster. So now he had to pack his life up, come to Chicago on
Move.
short
Yeah.
notice,
Yeah.
and then hit the field against Oakland. I mean, not against Oakland, against the
The
Raiders.
Raiders.
They changed cities so many times. I don't know who to call them. Okay, so considering that, he played spectacular against the Raiders, and he was able to get his first touchdown against uh, the
The
Chargers
Chargers
last night.
last night.
So
Hmm.
from that perspective, really happy for Darrington Evans, but for the rest of the team, same team, same scheme. Didn't attack, didn't win line of scrimmage on either side of the ball. Defensively looked bad. I didn't see
Yeah.
him gambling with any blitzes.
Yeah.
They let Herbert just dink and doink and pick them apart. Yeah, I haven't even gotten to Tyson Bagent's play because me myself personally, I just think that this experience that Justin Fields has to be able to learn from it. It's some negative and there's some positive in it all.
Yeah.
Real quick, how did you feel about Justin with the sunglasses on last night? I thought that was a bad look. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
I didn't care for it either because I'm a big image guy.
Yeah,
Okay, and I didn't now. Now, I didn't care for the sunglasses, and I definitely didn't care for the do rag. Okay,
Okay.
but with that being said, it had nothing to do with the game itself.
At
So
all,
I didn't
yeah.
really want to harp on it too much. But I didn't care for it because I'm an image guy, and I knew that once that happened, and once I seen that at the Bears lost that game, they were gonna pick it apart. And last night was the one night. As you know, Pen, I watched the game on the television and I turned the TV volume down and I listened to the game on AM 1000.
Mm.
Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer. But I wasn't able to do that last night because I had some technical difficulties. My damn TV went out, so I had to watch the game in a different room of the house while I wasn't equipped to to set up with the
The
radio
sound
and
and
stuff
everything.
like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But this was the first time I was able to watch the game, a Bears game, in a long time and get the national coverage. And there's a lot of people in the city of Chicago that will, I think you can touch on this. I don't know. Penn probably just getting off the clock. Penn don't have he don't have the luxury to watch as much sports talk and hear as much sports talk as we do during the day. But I think Will, you know a lot more, and you may have a lot more information on the way that the the local media was portraying this whole thing in Chicago.
Oh man, prior to this game, and you guys know it, man. It was Tyson Bagent this, Tyson Bagent that. He needs to be QB1. Justin needs to sit down. Matter of fact, let's trade Justin. Let's get him. And I'm like, wait a minute, man. The dude is a good, serviceable backup. Let's keep it what it is. He's a backup,
Yeah.
of which Chicago hasn't had a good backup in forever. I started thinking about Mike Tomczak, Steve Fuller. I mean, I'm way back there, right? And so the narrative was so, man, it was so loud what they were saying with all the undertones. So I was like, when I was watching the game last night, I was like, oh boy. First off, I couldn't wait to get to NBC Sports on YouTube to get to hear what Alex Brown said, because Alex Brown was going in on Justin Fields last week. It was terrible. It was a terrible display by Alex Brown. So I was like, look at Alex. No, give me that same energy, man. Keep that same energy that you was using last week. No, bring it for Tyson, because you said a quarterback job is not to turn the ball over, and he had to. I said, now that you making us have to pick,
Right,
because see,
right.
we don't want to pick. That's not us. We just want the guy to go out there to play. But since you have brought this up, then this morning I got up listening to Cap and Hood. As a matter of fact, Hood wasn't even on screen this morning. It was just Cap. So I'm like, okay, I remember what Hood said. I'm holding Hood to the fire. Then I get over to Mully and Hall, and man, I'm like, boy, Michael Jackson would be proud of all y'all with the moonwalk y'all doing. Y'all moonwalking back all these comments. Y'all softening the answer, and now all of a sudden, it's Getsy and Eberflus can't coach. I was like, wait a minute, we've been saying that.
Yep. Yep.
But the guy today that did it for me was Mr. Bernstein on the Bernstein and Holmes show. Bernstein was saying last week, why are we looking to settle for mediocrity in Beijing? Why are we looking for this horizontal passing game? We need something vertical. He was like, Beijing isn't it. Today, he went off. He was like, look here, man. All these undertones, and some of you all know who you are. You know what you said. The undertones are there. And if the Bears don't want to coach Justin Fields, then get rid of the coaches. He didn't say get rid of Justin. He said get rid of the coaches. Because what people fail to realize, Justin is 6'3", 230 pounds, runs a 4.4, throws one of the better deep balls in the NFL, and our coaches have failed to use him properly. And it's been a failure. But it's coaching malpractice, man.
Yep.
And
Yep.
one caller called in today on the show, and I ain't tell you this, Cheatham. One caller called in and was like, look, man, Justin Fields is a Ferrari, and they're turning him into a Hyundai. And you're expecting this Ferrari to operate at a certain level with Hyundai parts. You get rid of these shade tree mechanics and get somebody that knows how to make a Ferrari be a Ferrari. I said, you know what? I don't have to say nothing else. I stopped commenting because I said, that's the post.
Yep.
And what we've seen, man, and this is what bothers me, fellas, the division that's in the fan base. Now, we knew that some of these people were in here anyway, but the straight up blatant name calling. They've all said that Justin is dumb, he's not intelligent, he's and have blamed this whole 2 years on Justin, 3 years on Justin. And I'm like, this is coaching malpractice all the way from Nagy to Eberflus to Getsy. This is bad, man. And
Yeah,
so the
yeah.
only way that this can get better, sometimes for you to win, you got to lose, right? And we're in a situation where, and I'm gonna be in that dome next week, and I'm gonna be cheering, but I'm like, okay, okay, because the Saints are now 4-4, and the dome gonna be loud. Okay, Bajan. Okay, okay, arm wrestling dad. Okay,
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Well, I do personally. I text Penn last night and I said I'm watching this game from Justin Fields' perspective,
Through the shades.
and what I can say is this: Justin can learn from these past 2 weeks, definitely, that he can get rid of that ball quicker. I think we realized that up way before then, but I think Justin gets the chance for the first time in his career. I think he gets the chance to sit back and really watch it happen and see what
mm-hmm.
they're asking him to do.
Yeah,
But you cannot take away the fact that if he adds that to his game, how much more electrifying he would be, how much more healthy he would be if he could just add the small things to his game. So I'm just hoping that if Justin comes back, when he comes back, that he takes that part of his game and makes the adjustments because he can throw all the throws. It's questionable if he can throw all the throws, I guess, but we definitely know that he can throw that deep ball.
Right,
And I
right.
think
yeah.
he gets I think personally he gets greedy from time to time and he's not willing to take a little bit what the defense gives him. So I'm thinking and I'm hoping that coming back, that's what he'll be more willing to do because he'll be healthier, he won't take as many hits, and he can move the ball more, have a lot more strategic drives. Now, when I get into the same team, same scheme thing, and the Alex Brown, when we brought up Alex Brown against the Raiders, he was saying, "Oh, it was the same scheme. They ain't changed the playbook."
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
so
Yeah.
so my thing is this. My thing is this. If it was the same scheme, how many handoffs, how many snaps, should I say, has Cole Komet taken under center in the past 2 weeks?
Zero,
Zero. It's not the same scheme. How many quarterback run plays that they call against the Raiders?
zero.
Zero.
Zero. It's not the same scheme. You leaned on your running game. You leaned on two backs to anchor the running game and establish the line of scrimmage. And that's what happened. You had Deontay Foreman go out there and be a workhorse, scored 3 touchdowns,
Yeah,
two rushing and one caught one. And I believe what Bajan threw one, right? So Bajan threw 1 touchdown, had 162 yards passing on 21 to 29 attempts.
yeah.
Okay, that's game management. Good job, but that's game management. And if Justin can bring some of that to his skill set, I mean, he's off the
Sky's the
charts. I
limit.
mean,
Sky's the limit,
and
man.
that's what I'm saying. It's
Sky's
off
the
the
limit.
charts. But so that's all I'm saying. That if he could just add the little things, so that he can one stay healthy and have get the team more involved. Then before Justin went down, it was get the ball to Mooney. They want to force the ball to Mooney. See, the game in Washington was a special game
You
for
mean more?
Justin. Yeah,
It was
get the ball to
DJ
Moore.
Moore. Yeah.
Get the ball to DJ Moore. Exactly. Now, the game against Washington was a special game. I don't think you're going to have games like that often. So the ability to spread that ball around is key for I don't care who the quarterback is. Establish the line of scrimmage, spread the ball around. and I think that can win football games for the most part. And don't turn the ball over, okay?
Correct.
And keep the penalties off the field. Now the defense, on the other hand, they were trending
They
up the past 2 weeks, and then
three actually, because they
okay,
didn't.
for the
Yeah,
past 3 weeks they were
they
trending,
didn't.
and
Yeah, they didn't
then
play bad
last
against the
night
Vikings.
everybody was in Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. And then just to wrap it on Justin, man, Justin told you what the problem was in that press conference when he had to kind of walk that thing back. They're coaching him and he's playing robot. He can't play football. That's why if you watch Justin Fields, like, I watch a lot of college football. This is not the Justin Fields I saw at Ohio State. So he's out there doing things instead of relying on his team at Ohio State. He had a track team around him. He had J.K. Dobbins around him. He had a great defense around him. But now he's here, and what he's been asked to do last year is, Justin, go be Superman. So now that's kind of coached in him. He feels that if I'm not Superman, we don't have a chance to win the game. I don't care if I got DJ Moore out here. If I'm not able to make these plays and spin back out when I'm not supposed to, or just get down, we're not gonna be able to win the game. And you can't just turn that off. He's been in Nagy. He's had 2 years with Flus. You can't just turn that off. And that's why what Will said is coaching malpractice. And I watched the NBC Chicago sports game, the whole show last night. And the grades they was giving out for the coaching, all of them was giving F's across the board. Justin told you what the problem is. So I hope that Ryan Poles would just come out with a statement and say, Justin is my guy. And I think that would go a long way in kind of repairing
But
his mindset.
he can't do that, Penn.
Yeah,
He
he's
can't.
not
I got it.
No. Yeah,
he's
because you
not
got
going to do that
now he could do it
because
in
he didn't
private,
draft him.
but he
Hmm.
could do it in private, but he can't do it in public. But I want to throw this caveat at you concerning Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles comes from under the likes of a head coach, an Andy Reid, who has coached nothing but athletic type quarterbacks. That is given athletic quarterbacks an opportunity to thrive in his system. They even got rid of Alex Smith to bring in
Oh,
another
yeah.
athletic type quarterback, and said that Alex Smith wasn't the guy, and they had just won like 11 or 12 games with Alex Smith the year before.
Right.
Now, why is that important to me? Because I think conceptually, as a former offensive lineman too, he understands the magic of Justin Fields. He understands that I have something that if I get the right coaches around him, and I think this is what he's going to do. I think they're going to keep Justin for the 5th-year option. I think they're going to take that number 1, number 2 pick, and I think that they go ahead and try to stockpile it with maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. and maybe that offensive lineman out of Penn State. You get the
I'm on
offensive
that.
lineman out of Penn State, you got both your bookends because you just got Darnell Wright. You got both of them, right? You got Jenkins, you got Davis. I think they go pick up a center. They go draft a center, but I think they go pick up a center because they know they need an advanced center. You got your offensive line, right? And you still got this Ferrari back here. Man, you don't get rid of a Ferrari because you got people that don't know how to drive it, right? And Cheatham and Penn, when I think about it, because see, that becomes the frustrating part for all of us when we looking at this, right? We understand it because this is what we don't want to have happen, right? We do not want to see Justin Fields go to some other team and shine.
Yep.
And now we sitting back saying, man, look at what we could have had. Look what we could have did. And go ahead, Chief.
Finish your statement. Go ahead. Finish it
And
up.
that's why I don't think, and I know Ryan Poles is not going to say anything publicly because if he does that, he messes up the draft pick status. He
True.
messes up the potential to make people think we want to get rid of him, so that now
Yeah.
when he go to talk about trading them picks, he gets a king ransom. But
Right.
I think in private, he's got to have conversations. And Kevin,
Warren, Kevin Warren.
no, our president,
Kevin Warren.
Kevin Warren, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Warren, president of the Big Ten. Guess what he saw from Justin Fields? Leadership during COVID. He saw Justin Fields take the bull by the horns and challenge the authority of the Big Ten Conference to say, let us play football. So you don't just get rid of a kid or person who's displayed leadership and athletic talent. You don't get rid of that because they're a dime a dozen. Leadership is not something that's a trait that everybody has. And I think all those variables, man, because if they get rid of Justin, dog, I'm just telling you.
And even with that, if they get rid of Justin and Justin goes shine, we not trying to sit through. Okay, now let's just say
No,
they draft
say
Caleb
that,
Williams. We not trying to
man.
sit through
Say that,
that. We
man. Say
not.
that. I don't have 4 more years to go.
we not.
Let me put it to you like this: if Justin Fields moves on, I'm gonna root for Justin.
I'm rooting for Justin, man.
My vote will be split
Oh, I'm rooting.
because I'm rooting for Justin because I know Justin has not been dealt the best card up to this point in Chicago because everybody was on board with the tank job last season.
Everybody,
And
Correct.
you
man.
and you could
Everybody.
say that Justin Fields was the most exciting player in football last season.
Ninth in
Okay?
MVP voting.
Okay.
Right.
So and that's winning 3 games. So he done went from being the most exciting, possibly the most exciting player in football last season, during a tank season. Now everybody looking at his record. Well, this is football is the ultimate team sport. The
Talking.
defense was tore down.
Yeah.
Okay, once the defense got tore down after the New England game, scoring went up
Yes.
with enough, and Justin Fields affected that himself, either with his
Himself
legs or with his
with his
arm.
arm. With his
But
arm.
the
That's right.
defense couldn't stop anyone. So
Last in
now
the
everybody was like,
NFC.
yeah, everybody was like, Justin is our guy. Let's tank it out and get the draft picks. Ryan Poles, for some reason, they say they were trying to win, but Lovey did him a solid last season. He
Yes,
go
sir.
into the last week of the season and he beat the Colts. Texans beat the Colts. Bears get the #1 pick in the draft, and Ryan Poles goes to work. He trades that pick away, get a haul from Carolina, bring in a #1 receiver for Justin. By the way, when Justin went down against Minnesota, Justin and DJ Moore were one of the top duos in
In
the
the league.
league.
In the
So
league.
now, are we just ready to just throw that away?
No.
Have they forgotten
No.
about that? And how did
No.
they feel after the Washington game?
Oh,
It's
great.
a week to week. It's a week to week vibration,
Yes, sir.
and it goes that way with any team, any player, especially with the quarterback. It's a
Yeah.
week to week vibration. Um, he was QB1. He was DJ Moore was the offensive player of the week in the NFC
That's right.
after that game.
That's right.
Okay, they
That's
were
right.
one of the top duos in the league.
That's right.
Justin goes down. A horrible game plan to start the game against
Oh.
Minnesota.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, that's why I was
First play
pissed off.
sack.
That's why would you send him back there empty set with a defense that you know were aggressively and going to attack the quarterback? And that's
Flores,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
Same scheme, same team, and it hasn't been that way, and it wasn't that way from the Minnesota game to the Las Vegas Raider game. It was not the same team, same scheme. That's
No.
why I had a problem with what Alex Brown said.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's and we saw it. And we literally saw that right before our eyes. And I remember watching that Vikings game, first play, man. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Because Cole Kmet was on that end, didn't chip the blocker, just ran straight out on the route. And I'm like, this is bringing me back to the Cleveland Brown game when Justin was first thrown into the fire and got sacked 9 times. This is giving me those kind of vibes when I saw that type of play calling. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Where's what we just saw, like you said, against Denver and Washington? Where is that? How do you forget that all of a sudden? But I'm going to tell you what it is. It gets, and I heard something. I don't know how true this is. I should have, found out the source, but somebody had said that they had read that for those 2 games that the Bears had dibbled and dabbled a little bit with the scheme that Baltimore used to run for Lamar Jackson. But coming to the Vikings game, they scrap it because now Luke Getsy's got to have his way. Man, who is Luke Getsy but a quarterback coach?
Right. You're not even a legit coordinator. You
You're not a
just
coordinator.
you
You're
was
not
on the staff
legit.
with the team with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
That's what
that's
you were.
it.
That's
That's
what you
it,
were.
man. And we are suffering as a fan base behind it because sure, if Justin can't do what he does, then that means that the defense is on the field a lot longer. They're tired, they're three and outs, they're turnovers, whatever the case may be. But it's the play calling, man. And I agree with you. Same team, same scheme. Cheatham, you couldn't have said that better.
Yeah, you got to. I'm big on running the football, man. I think that's obvious to you guys. I'm big on running the football. Um, there's some other games I'm gonna touch on when I say this. Two other games I'm gonna touch on when I say this. When I say run the damn ball, but to last but not least, then we're gonna touch on some defensive things when you're concerned of personnel concerning Jalen Johnson. But offensively, what are we going to do with Valus Jones?
Man, listen. You know when he yep, I was telling y'all before the season. I text you when he dropped that pass. What I text you? Velvet Jones, because I refuse to call him his
Call
real name.
him Velvet. Crush Velvet.
Velvet. Yeah, but you know
Um,
what? When they were showing that play on the replay, it just looked like he trying so hard, and I know what that's like as an athlete. Like you trying so hard, you just want to make a play, and it's just his legs just stop working, and then he was like, "I still got to try and catch this ball," and it's just not gonna work here. It's just not gonna work here, and they wasting a roster spot by trying to put him out there. He's not producing. Pose, I know that was your first pick. It's just not working. It's just not working. Let's get somebody else in here. I think we got other guys on the team. Like who did we cut? The D lineman we cut in the preseason that was
we cut
balling
our
out.
bet. We cut both of our best pass rushers from from exhibition. They both got cut. Lewis and Gibson. They both got
Gibson.
cut.
Right.
They
Terrell.
both got cut. I don't know where Lewis is, but I think Gibson signed on with the Titans.
Titans.
But
Yeah.
Right.
this is my thing. This is the reason why I brought up Valus because I felt from week one when Valen couldn't lock down the punt return job, and they had to go out and get another guy to do that. So he couldn't do that. He was not really a part of the offense as a wide receiver. Now, I felt at that time, okay, if we're going to keep him on the roster, make him a healthy scratch and figure it out. And the reason why I say that because Deontay Foreman was a healthy scratch for about at least three
The first
weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
And if you scratch Valus Jones and give Deontay more carries, you get to figure out who your best back is. I think it was more important to figure out who your best back is in situation as it was more important to do that than to say we're just going to have Valus sit back in the end zone and watch the ball just go in the end
Yeah.
zone and
Go
get
in his
touchbacks
zone.
for three
Do
Yeah.
weeks
these.
because that's
Yeah.
pretty much what he did until they figured out how to work him into the offense. Now he
Yeah.
has been able, especially with the emergence of Tyson Bagent. Bagent's been able to get him the ball from time to time, and even Tyler Scott's been able to get involved in the game plan from time to time.
Yeah.
I just think that Tyler Scott and Travis Homer can take those kickoffs. I think
Why
they've
not?
done it they've done it in exhibition.
Yeah.
So Valus they have to do something with Valus. I think I'm predicting that he'll be a healthy scratch going into New Orleans. So as far as the offense is concerned, I'm pretty much wrapped on that because we got some concerns on defense with scheme and is it time to pay Jalen Johnson? I say yes.
I say yes too. Run the
I
man
say
his money,
yes.
man.
Yeah.
Mm,
But
Run the
this is
man
the
his money.
thing.
His
This
numbers,
is
he
my
got the
thing.
best numbers by PFF as for coverage. He's tops.
Yes. And you said the key word is coverage because I think what Penn is tripping on is the fact he don't have as many turnovers.
not
Turnovers and
even.
takeaways, interceptions get you paid.
I
Yeah.
know.
And he
Yeah.
doesn't have enough of those type of plays. And that's what the hard decision is on Jalen Johnson. But I just don't think you get rid of good players, especially your homegrown players. Now,
That's why I want to
the
keep him.
problem is what is his price?
Right. That's why I want to
Yeah,
keep him because he's been in the system. He's one of the leaders back there on your
yeah,
secondary. So I'm
yeah,
keeping him for that reason. But as
yeah.
far as production and turnovers, I would go shopping. But that's what I'm saying. Y'all steadfast on it.
Well,
I'm
his
kind of on
his
the fence.
production is good. It's just the turnover thing.
Right.
I read something today that said that Poles wants to sign him, but he wants it to be friendly for both sides,
Yeah.
right? And so we know how that went with Roquan, and we got rid of Roquan, man, my dude, and we haven't really replaced Roquan, and so do you want to still dangle that carrot out there right now and lose potentially Jalen Johnson? Who and because you see right now they killing Tariq over there. He good for 2-3 pass interferences a game right now. That's his average. He almost like a triple double or something. But
Mm,
but I think Jalen, I think he deserves it. And I think one of the other things that has hurt him in negotiations would be his ability to be healthy because he has missed some games due to that. So I think Jalen, he's got to be reasonable in understanding. Hey, the best availability is when you're able to be on that field, man. You can't be getting all this money and I got a hammy or no, you got to
yeah.
get out here, man.
I'm
Yeah,
not
earn
trying to
your
see
money.
Eddie Jackson part two. I'm not. Remember
Yeah,
Eddie Jackson was
No,
balling?
yeah.
Eddie, man, Eddie
He
out
That's
of
got
here,
his
another
man.
money.
knock on him.
Eddie,
Yeah.
Eddie out of here. Eddie gone after
Yeah.
this season. He out.
That, that's another knock on Jalen too, because he hasn't been exactly healthy, and I
Yeah,
think that's why I can
yeah,
understand Ryan Poles saying that
yeah,
it's got to be a friendly deal on both
yeah,
sides. But
yeah.
I don't want to trade him. I just hope
No,
the
I don't.
price is right,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
think he's one of our better. I would love to see him get more interceptions and takeaways. I think after the Raiders game, I think he should be really motivated to do that. But you can't step away from your technique, and then overcompensate, and then you start giving up the big plays. So, but evaluating his performance from last night, he was okay. He was pretty good. He
he's
did he
okay.
didn't get
He's
the
okay.
he didn't get the interceptions, but his coverage was on point. And as far as
Yeah,
Tariq Stevenson, he's fundamentally he has the heart. I love his
yeah,
effort, but he has to learn how to play to the boundaries of the field. What I mean by that, he's susceptible to late hits, and his technique is bad because last night, you got to see what you hit. He doesn't always see what he hits, and he's been in concussion protocol because of it. You got to see what you hit. I think that's the most fundamental way of tackling anybody. See what
yeah,
you hit. And if
yeah,
you looked at when they pulled him out the game against the Chargers, he put his head down, bam, right there, and he got caught in the pickle, had to go to the sideline and get evaluated. And I just
yeah,
think he's fundamentally bad from a tackling standpoint from time to
yeah,
time, and a boundary standpoint. When you talk about keeping it clean near the sideline, you don't want any late hits. He has his effort. I love his effort. I love his motor, but I think he has to tone it down and be a little bit more conscious on how he's tackling and where he is on the field as far as how he's tackling, when he's
yeah,
tackling, who he's
yeah,
tackling. Because
Maybe he's not a one. Yeah. Maybe he's not a
yeah,
one.
and that's why I want to keep Jalen, because if you get rid of Jalen, I mean, if you get rid of him,
That moves him to a one.
that moves him to a one. I'm like, well, that
yeah.
just weakens. Guys like
Everything.
Jalen Johnson are hard to find. Believe me,
Yeah, everything.
they're
And
hard to
and I
find.
think they know it. And I think they know it. And
Yeah,
I think that they just trying to play their cards right, man. They just,
yeah.
anybody who's in business, they always want to try to get it for nothing. They want something for nothing. So, that's just business, man, because I want to stay as profitable as I can. And if I have more money left over, then I can go back out and get a bigger toy or something. But I think Jalen Johnson needs to stay there.
Me as well. But I'm gonna jump back to the offense because we have not really talked about Tyson Bagent's performance. I
Yeah.
pointed out some things he probably did pretty well that
Mm-hmm.
I think Justin can learn from. But from a perspective of some of his weaknesses, I think he was exposed. And what I mean by that is really good corners and safeties in the National Football League, they know how to bait. and
Yeah.
I think he got baited a couple times. He threw a late ball to Mooney, and he kind of blew Mooney up into double coverage and ended up getting picked. And then I think that interception he had trying to, I don't know if he was throwing the ball to Mooney or he was throwing the ball to Moore. I want to say he was throwing the ball to DJ Moore, but I believe he was baited into that interception. Or he said in the press conference that that was a miscommunication between him and Moore. Okay. Also, Velus Jones said that he think when he dropped that pass, he said it was underthrown. So I mean,
You
that's
still
all
gotta catch that.
debatable.
Yeah, you
It's all
still gotta catch
debatable.
that
Yeah,
one.
you're right. You
Yeah,
still got to
that's
catch that.
catchable. Yeah.
But yeah, you still got to catch it. If you could touch it, you could. If you could touch it, you could catch it. That's why it's so debatable with the Mooney interception as well. But Mooney with 180 pounds, 5'7", 5'8", 180 pounds. Uh, that was a big hit. He took over the middle. So I mean, that guy, whoever it was that picked him off, I mean, he just kind of snatched it from him,
Well,
snatched it out
he
the air
had
after he bobbled it.
Bajan had two interceptions. He could have easily had 4 or 5 last night, right?
Didn't one of them get overturned?
One got overturned because it hit the
Yeah,
ground.
Yeah, it hit
Asante
the
yeah,
ground.
Asante Samuel
Something. Yep.
Jr.
yeah.
Yep.
And then there was
Hmm.
one that he threw in the middle of the field. It was almost like triple coverage, and the defender knocked it down and almost caught it.
Yeah.
But Tyson Bajan, I'll say this, man. We're all former athletes, and I know LA. You teach kids, so you sometimes see kids that have better technique than some other kids, and we everybody needs to be fundamentally sound, and so when you see him, you see a good fundamentally sound quarterback going through. He looks the part. You know what I'm saying? We can't deny that he looks the part, right? But I've been around a bunch of fundamental kids that couldn't hold a candlestick to that kid that really had the talent and the athletic ability. Because all you had to do with the kid that had the talent and athletic ability was hone in on those fundamentals, and now that kid's roof was now this high,
Hmm.
right? And so that's what we're seeing. And so I think he's gonna be okay. But New Orleans, man, listen, man, they got a front four, they got a nice secondary. That dome gonna be rocking. They coming. And it wasn't even loud. It wasn't even loud in San Diego last night. Listen, fellas, if you've never experienced a game in the dome with the Saints and they winning, and right now they 4-4, make them second in the NFC South. They figuring that they can get this game and be 5-4. They stand the whole game, man. I ain't never seen nothing like it, man.
Let me
They
ask you this
stand the
way,
whole game.
because I know you go to a lot of games. You ever been to Arrowhead? It,
No, I was gonna go this year, man, but I couldn't miss that many Sundays at church. The people at the church would have came and got me.
okay. Yeah, because
But
I
if
hear
it
them
had been a
stories about
night
the
game,
dome. Yeah.
if it had been a night game, I was
You'd have been
going.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I was on my way to Washington. My wife was about to get the tickets and everything. But I think, and Cheatham said it. The NFL, man, or maybe you said it, Penn. Those corners and safeties, they gonna bait you, man. They go 3 card molly you, man. They gonna show you one thing, and it's gonna be something else. And if you can't diagnose that, I don't care what your footwork is. I don't care what your 3-step drop is, man. You got to release that ball, and we gonna be right there in your face. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of safeties, there's one in particular safety I want to point out tonight. One of my former players, one of my former AAU sixth graders. He's now a New Orleans Saints, and that's why
Uh-oh.
he's with the Saints. Number 28, my man Lonnie Johnson Jr., Gary Westside Cougar. This kid played with me and my cousin Bob, so I had to shout out Bob tonight. He's on joining us on Facebook. Coach Garrett. Jamal Garrett, East Chicago, Indiana, football and basketball coach. Big John Barry Davis, 1970, Indiana High School state champion, East Chicago Roosevelt, and I missed someone else that shouted me out tonight. I'm gonna try and get back to them. We've been looking for what I got, but I had when you spoke of those Saints, that's been on the tip of my tongue to talk about Lonnie tonight and those people that are joining us on the show. Thanks for joining us. Anybody that's checking us out on Facebook as we try and do this thing and have a ball. Um, I'm gonna touch on some games when we talk about statistics and running the football. There's two games, three games really. I don't want to be too much long. We want a pen got to hit that midnight oil tonight, and so do I. And Will got. I don't know if you sitting in the master's touch or what.
No, this the crib. This the crib.
Okay, so Will the chill, Will the thrill base, he good tonight. But let me touch on some games and I talk about running the football. So two games that come to mind out of week 8 was the Bengals beating the 49ers 31-17. And when I
Hmm.
go to the box score, they want you to watch the football game through the eyes of the quarterback, and I get it. I watched the game in the trenches and establishing the run because there's only one quarterback on the field. If that guy can go out and not turn the ball over, he gives this team a chance to win just
Win.
by not turning the ball over.
That's right.
But if you control the line of scrimmage, it seems to be a pretty big deal. So in comparison, uh, in that game, Joe Burrow was 28 of 32, 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Pretty
Wow.
good game for Joe Burrow. They getting above 500 at 4-3. But the 49ers have lost 3 straight games.
hmm
So I'm gonna go to a Brock Purdy stat line here.
Oh yeah.
Three
Brock
picks.
Purdy Brock
Oh man.
Purdy was 22 of 31, 365 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Um, Rushing, they were 23. They rushed the ball 23 times for 113 yards. Uh, uh, Christian McCaffrey only carried the rock 12 times.
Think about
12
that.
carries for 54 yards. Okay. They got over 100 yards rushing. But let's look at what the Bengals did in comparison. Uh, Joe Mixon, 16 carries, 187 yards, 1 touchdown. He was their leading rusher. They rushed the ball 27 times, 134 yards. So they beat him in the rushing game, not by much. But the key to this football game was the turnovers.
Yeah.
The key to the football game was the turnovers. So if your quarterback does not turn the ball over, he gives you a chance to win. Another
Yeah.
game in question that I want to look at when I talk about the rushing game and taking care of the football, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs against the Broncos. That was the biggest upset of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, no one. I don't care where they played. No one expected for the Broncos to beat
To beat
the
Kansas
Chiefs.
Yeah.
City. No.
So, uh, Patrick Mahomes is one of the few quarterbacks in the league that really might not need a rushing game to win because he got Big 87 to throw that rock to. That is his short rushing game. He get them short dump offs to Travis Kelsey. That's usually the formula of winning for the Kansas City Chiefs. But so I looked at their stats. Uh, Pacheco carried the rock 8 times for 40 yards. They rushed the ball 16 times for 62 yards as a team. Patrick Mahomes went 24 of 38, 241 yards, no touchdowns, two
Two
interceptions.
interceptions. Yeah. Then I think he had a
Okay.
strip fumble. Strip of, yeah.
Yeah. So we watch the game through the eyes of the quarterback. And if I'm gonna do that, the number one thing I don't want my quarterback to do is turn the ball
Turn
over.
that ball over.
Second, I want to establish my run game because the opportunity to make a play or two will present themselves. This is when you have to make them. Case in point, on the very first play of the game with the Bears, if if Mooney darts out and just sprints instead of jogging, that might have been a touchdown because he wasn't touched when he fell
Yeah.
on the
When he
ground
fell on the
against the
ground. That's right.
Chargers.
hmm
Hmm.
Okay. So, but what I'm saying is you only get, and then look at the other play with Valus dropping the pass. They only got two really big plays. Three if you consider number 52's dropped
Interception.
interception. We've talked
Yep.
about the Bears,
Hmm.
Yep.
okay? But I don't like how they watch football. I watch the whole game, and at the end of the day, if you don't establish the line of scrimmage, if you don't take care of the football, if you don't stop the run, if you can't run, most of the time you're
You
going to
lose.
Gonna
lose.
lose. Yeah, you're losing.
Okay, I don't give a damn who the quarterback is. We watch PJ Walker win 2 games without throwing a touchdown pass or running for a touchdown pass. This week, he did that and they lost. Now, I'm rambling a bit, but I just had to touch on that. I just watched the game a little different from most, and I
And
just like
and
to get
and
my point across on that.
that's the right way. You run the ball, man. I don't care how sexy it is to pass the ball all over the field and everything like that. But to win in the NFL, you have to run the ball because January is coming. It's cold outside, and if you don't have a run game, man, all that passing when the ball is harder and all that kind of stuff. No, man, you might be in a blizzard. You got to run that rock, man, and your offensive line have to be used to opening up those holes. So I definitely agree with you. And I'm gonna just throw this caveat out there to you guys because I'm as optimistic as they come. Our Bears are 2-6. Somebody gonna be like, "Will, you delusional man? What are you talking about?" Last year at the same time, when we played the Detroit Lions, and I can't stand the Detroit Lions. I can't stand it. But I got to go ahead and say this. Last year when we played them, the Detroit Lions was 2-6, and they went on a run. All I'm saying, guys, anything is possible. Anything is
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Any
Anything is
given
possible.
Sunday,
Yeah.
any given
Anything is
Sunday.
possible.
Look at the
Anything is
Broncos
possible, man.
game, Broncos and Chiefs. Prime
Anything
example.
is possible, man. That's all I'm
Any
saying,
given
man.
Sunday, man. Any given
Anything
Sunday.
is possible, man.
Um, some big matchups. A big matchup tonight. Like I said, I think we spoke on it with the Raiders and Lions
Raiders.
tonight.
Yeah, they
Our
brought the ball
boy
now.
David Montgomery's out. David Montgomery's out tonight, so he won't be playing. But as we speak, and we're gonna wrap it up. It's been real. Uh, thanks for joining us, Will, tonight. But we're gonna
Man, I
wrap it up.
appreciate
My
it.
man Penn got to hit that. He got to hit that oil. But as we speak, I'm gonna touch on some things as we speak because it's basketball season, and
Uh-oh.
I don't know, are they playing a World Series game tonight? I'm
Yes, they
not
are.
sure.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Game 3.
as in the World Series, outside of Game 2, I don't know what's going on in Game 3 right now, but Game 1 was worth the watch. I know, Will, you a baseball guy.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know if you're keeping up with that, but
Yes,
we
sir. I'm
like to
keeping
watch the
up.
game, even if we don't talk about. We want to mention it. So I'm
Yes,
not a
sir.
huge baseball fan, but when I say watch the game, that's what I mean. So I'm gonna watch the Fall Classic. I'm gonna try and enjoy it. As we speak, the hometown Chicago Bulls are down by 2 at half against the Indiana Pacers. Um, Penn, your Milwaukee Bucks are up on top. I mean, your Miami Heat are on top of the Bucks 7-5 in the first quarter.
That's not a
And
good thing. Yeah.
of local interest, for my man Will Bates, I believe the
The Pelicans are
Pelicans,
playing.
the
Yeah,
Pelicans got
killing
the
it.
Warriors tonight. So,
Hey,
you know, we got some
but
games
don't
to
get it
watch tonight.
twisted. I'm a Bulls fan first.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
talking about
yeah,
local interest.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
yeah,
know
yeah.
yeah,
you.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know you're a Bulls fan.
I just don't want it. Hey, I keep
Yeah.
my Chicago card active. You hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you're gonna have it alive and well in the
In
dome
the dome.
on Sunday.
On Sunday.
And Tyson Bagent
Yeah.
will be the quarterback.
And watch
And
this. Watch this.
yeah.
And I'm rooting for Tyson Bagent that game.
Oh
And
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
you gotta let us know if we travel well down there to the dome because it seemed like when I be watching these NFL games, the visiting team travels really well unless
Listen,
you're the
man.
Arizona
Listen.
Cardinals or the
This is why it's
Panthers.
so frustrating as a Bears fan. Our fans travel. We take over. It's gonna be so many fans up in the dome. We take over a place, man, and we are loud in that place. Man, it's something to see, man. It's and that's why I'm trying to figure out with the team in the third largest market, man. Let's get this right, man. Let's get this right.
I'm depending on Bagent to get me a win on my birthday.
Oh man,
Saturday
okay,
is my birthday,
okay.
and the game is Sunday. So if Beijing can get me a win, and maybe we could take two to the house on some pick sixes, find a way to get a win. I'm hoping Jalen can get a pick, and maybe we can get a scoop fumble, and Tyson can throw a touchdown pass. We get a couple rushing TDs, and just that's a lot of points to
On the
put up on the
Saints.
Saints in their house. But I wanna have a really good birthday, and I wanna enjoy the Bears on Sunday taking on the. I think that's Lonnie. If I'm not mistaken, that's Lonnie's birthday as well. Me and Lonnie Johnson, we Lonnie Johnson Jr. We share the same birthday. Another shout
Okay.
out to Lonnie Johnson. Also, Devin Hester. Devin Hester shares the same birthday as I. So
Okay.
shout out to Devin Hester. Hey man, it's been real with my man Will Bates, Will the Thrill, and of course the super producer. I don't know what I would do without him. My main man, Benjamin Bapka. Watch the game.
We
World
go.
Series is underway and there's no score.
Yes, sir. Bless y'all.